Hey guys, Terry from Smooth Workshop here. Ooh. Right, I've been away from the Tinterwebs for a wee while and I thought I would start off with a viewer's request. Somebody expressed interest in this particular kit. So it's from Italeri, as you can see in the box. Yamaha Tenere, a 660cc. It's a Paris Dakar bike from round about 1986 in 1/9 scale. What I can tell you, if my computer will just refresh, was this kit was originally made by Protar in the 1980s. So I don't know if Protar brought this out as a excuse the hiccups, a metal kit. But basically Italeri seem to have bought over molds, and this is what we have. So really nice front box art. Side art, we've got the bike, something about the riders in 82, 83, 84, a little bit about Yamaha XT, which was a trolley bike. Looks like decals on the end. Nothing much on that end. What's on the other side of the box, and it's just basically what the model is supposed to look like. So to say, this is a 2020 kit. So it's a new box, but it's just a rebox. So I'm just going to, I haven't opened this kit yet. So excuse me while I fiddle with the sellotape that is around. Yeah, so 1/9 scale, that's a bit bigger than the 1/12 scale stuff that I normally do. So let's just pan the camera down a little bit and have a look what's in here. So the first thing that's on the top is the decals. Now I have no idea who they're made by. Oh, there we go. Designed and printed by Cartograph. So you know you've got some decent decals here. So you've got the main tank sort of decals there. This will be the side panel ones, giving you the different numbers of different riders, and a few other bits and bobs. So the decals, very nice. Very few on a trials bike, so, but they are Cartograph, which is fantastic. We have an instruction booklet, which appears to be in black and white. I'll go into that briefly in a minute. We have a small bag containing some screws, set screws with threaded parts on, and what looks to be a spring, a couple of springs actually, 3 springs, and some PVC brake piping. So that's a little bag of stuff. We have a main sprue in white. We have another sprue in chrome. Hopefully it's undercut. We will soon find out. We have a bag containing, now my hands are quite big, so this is a bigger scale bike than I normally build. We've got the big chunky back tyre, front fork gaiters, handlebar grips, and something else. So a bag of rubber parts. We have, this is interesting. We have a bag of sprues that look like individual chain links. Ooh, interesting. Need to have a closer look at those. And one further bag that has 3 lots of sprues in. Right, I don't like when they bung all the sprues in together, but let's have a look at this bag. So, can I find my knife? Here we are. Not keen on bags of everything bunged together, but let's see what we find out when we open this little bag up. Now this kit is available at the moment In the UK it goes for around £54. That isn't what I paid for mine. Something fell out the bag. Hopefully it's nothing important, because I'll be in the doo-doo later on, because I'm only just looking at this. So let me just have a quick look in the floor, see if it was anything important. I can't see anything at the moment, so hopefully it wasn't anything important. So I've debagged this, and thankfully the clear parts are in a separate bag. So you've got the front screen, which seems to have a nice optical clarity. Rear light. This looks like a Speedo. Not sure about the other ones, but yeah, you've certainly got front screen, rear light and Speedo in the clear parts. We have a sprue of black parts here, which are, and I'm just looking here, 2 parts of the rear hugger, which go over the back wheel. We have, seems to have quite decent weld detail in it. 2 parts of the frame. This looks like the 2 back swing arms, which unfortunately appears to have some sinkage in it. Okay. Handlebars and grips. Nothing special. Top and bottom yoke. Nothing special there. Are these fork tubes? If they are, they have a seam all the way down the side of them, so yes, you will have to clean that up. Yeah, sinkage. I'm not a fan of sinkage. Yeah, the sort of weld detail between the parts is quite nice. But when you're looking at the rear swing arms and you start seeing sinkage, yeah, not too happy about that. It looks like a rear strut and side stand. So yeah, sinkage and some seams to take care of. Also in that bag we have the main sort of engine parts. Now you might see some marbling on the sides with the Yamaha and stuff. That's just the way it's been printed out. It looks okay. A little bit of flash here and there. Rear drum. This is obviously exhaust silencer. Front disc, pre-drilled. Thank goodness. Rear sprocket. A hanger. Gear lever and kickstart have a wee bit of seams up the side, so everything that has roundage on it, is a way to speak, will have seams to clean up. Right, okay, what else have we got? We've got some more of the exhaust, which, and a bit of flash on here. So a bit of flash, obviously seems to deal with. Front fork stanchions, cast as a full part, which is quite interesting. But yes, seams all the way up and down, which hardly surprises me. This looks a bit like an oil cooler of some description of the front part of the engine. You've got a caliper here. The details are okay, but they're a bit soft. A lot of little engine brackets and stuff. Lots of flash, a lot of rough edges. Looks like a saddlebag. Again, yeah, a bit rough. That looks like a cylinder head. Let's flip these over. I think these are all engine parts, and I think they want you to build them up in stages to build up the fins. I think it's a V-twin. It might be a big single. I can't remember. Yeah, not the best of mouldings, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, nothing you can't work with. Right, okay. I didn't realise this when I got the kit, but it appears all the chain comes in. I'm just trying to see what knocks it all together. The chain appears to come in a pile of individual links. Now you can see split links there. Are there more of these? Oh yes. Right, okay, so some of them have little pins all the way along. And some have the opposite holes. So it'll be interesting to see how they say to put those together. But basically you have to build the chain up link by link. And you have, just checking this out. Yep, you've got 3 sprues the same to basically build you your chain up. No idea how they suggest whether you glue one side or whatever, but yeah, you've got 3 sprues with chain links, male and female, to make the chain up. Cool stuff, actually. Right, tyres. Not going to take them out the bag. They're nice. They're rubber. They've got a seam line on them. The fork gaiters also have a seam line up them. But nice that they give you the little rubber handlebar grips. That's a nice touch. But going by the size of those, nice big bike. Again, I'm not going to take the chrome out the bag. You've got front wheel, rear wheel, and I'm assuming these are headlight bezels. They are not undercut. So if you cut these, you're going to have to try and either patch up the little mark that you make by cutting it off, or you're going to have to strip it down and paint it in a chrome-like material. What I would say is all the spokes coming up here, even though they're chromed, have flash on them. So for me, that would need to be stripped off. And there's seam lines in that on them. So there's no point having these chrome because it's poor quality chrome. Yeah, there's little bits of flash and so yeah, absolutely no point having a spoke looking like that. So all the chrome on this would need to be stripped off, and you would need to use a paint to replicate said chrome. And the last sprue, which I will cut out, it actually shows you the size of the tank. Wow. So it's a decent sized bike. As I say, I'm used to building 1/12 stuff. And this is 1/9. But as I say, Protar used to make metal framed kits, and they sold a lot of moulds off to manufacturers to make plastic kits. Unfortunately, when you cast metal into a mould, it shrinks back and gives you a realistic scale. You cast plastic into the metal moulds and a lot of it is overscale. But in saying that, here we go. So this is one of the tank halves. It has a bit of quite a wee bit of flash in it here and there. Just looking for sinkage. A few scuff marks. A little bit of sinkage there. This looks like the inside of said tanks. Nothing special to look at. This could be a rear hugger. A little bit of sinkage on it. Front mudguard. Nothing special. This looks like a belly pan type guard for the engine. A lot of sink marks along there. And the grill. This is rear mudguard. This is the wind cheaters on the handlebars, which I've got Yamaha quite nicely detailed in there. A little bit of flash. The big comfy seat. Not bad, unfortunately, rather large sprue gate, so you'll have to be careful when you take them off. And this looks like a sort of tailpiece that sits under the seat. It's a bit rough and ready with the holes, a bit of flash, a lot of seams. All in all, a fairly decent kit, I think. And the last thing to mention was it gives you your brake cables, a couple of springs. So I'm thinking that the front springs might be sprung, a rear spring for the rear shock, and your brake cables and a lot of screws. Right, let's have a quick flick through the instructions. Excuse me, I'll just adjust the camera. Try to keep these brief, but there was one of my followers wanted to see this kit and see whether it's worth the 50 quid. So the first part details all the sprue layout, the springs, the screws and all the rest of it, just to check what you've got, and obviously it gives you a useful little ruler there to let you see you've got the right thing. This one starts off with the front and rear wheel assembly. As I say, with the chrome, it's pretty poor. You will have to strip that off and paint it before you go ahead with the building of that. Left and right hand crankcases, and as I was thinking, this is actually a big single. So what they're giving you is all the individual parts to make it look like a nice finned motor. Unfortunately, I believe in the Protar kit where it was metal, these parts would have shrunk back slightly, so you will find that all of these are slightly overscale. So when you build it together, the fins are actually thicker than what they were. But yeah, so you're basically building up one cylinder via 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 parts to give you a single piston block with 14 ribs in it, although they might be slightly overscale. I'm not too big on the overscale thing. If it looks like the bike, it looks like the bike. That's fair enough, but for some people that's a problem. Clutch slave cylinder. Is it clutch? I'm just looking here. I've got the rocker cover, cam cover. Not sure what that cable's for. Could be speedo drive. It's got you there with the engine block. It's telling you to file it flat before you put the cylinder on. There's your exhaust outlets. So although it's a 2-cylinder, but it looks like a 1-cylinder, if you know what I mean. So there's 2 cylinders in the one block. There's your head going on, plugs going on, twin carbs on the back. So yeah, the front, is this the front or the back? I'm not sure, but this is one sprung unit. So we have moving suspension on one side. I think it's the rear. Because it's showing you in between there and there. Yeah, so that the rear suspension is sprung. So you have moving rear suspension, which is quite nice. It shows you the 2 frame halves and all the coils and all the brackets and all the rest of it going on the engine. Again, a lot of cleanup required before you get there. It shows you all the chain parts. So you've got those, going through those, going through those. Plastic must not melt. I would need to read more on that. What I would be tempted to do with these, the welding iron should be slightly warm. So what it's asking you to do is put the 3 chain parts together, then heat them with a soldering bolt like this, but don't have it too warm. So you're basically, whatever's left over the end, you're flattening over with a soldering bolt or a flat nail that you heat up with a lighter. Very old-fashioned. Very easy to go wrong, but it's a way of doing it. So I've done that in the past, so that's fair enough. and then you link all the parts together in various sections, and at the last bit you heat the last one when you've got it over. So yeah, so it's basically the chain. You've got 2 pins goes through 2 holes, and then there's 2 holes overlapping, and then 2 holes overlapping that link it all up, and then the bit sticking through, you melt the ends over, and that holds the chain together. Rear swing arm in. Rear swing arm's 2 parts, and that looks like a little chain guard. Then you've got the rear wheel, brake drum, and the rod. Looks like a bit of a complicated rod system. Rear brake, that's a lot of flash on that, and there's a lot of flash on that. And then the rear foot peg. Front forks are sprung. Apologies, this is going over 20 minutes, but it's a 1/9 scale kit, so there's a bit more to it. So inside the stanchions, you've got 2 small springs, and then you've got the stanchions going into those with the gaiters over top. So front suspension is also sprung. You've got the top yoke there with a speedo binnacle, a back plate, and a decal goes over it. That's telling you exactly how to position the front forks. So top yoke, bottom yoke, there's the front forks and stanchions, the screws and all that going through. So it tells you how to do all that, and the top steering yoke part. And it tells you all the plumbing for all the brake lines, etc. Handlebars, grips, throttle cables, brake cables. Down below is the belly pan, 19, which goes down to here. And mounting points, another foot peg, gear lever. Yep. That's telling you to chop something there. Some sort of spring. Air filter, intakes, exhaust, back baffle, seat. Let's see what else we're going to. Yeah, and then the rear cowling parts with rear mudguard, which all sits over the back end with your little sort of pack on the back, rear light, 2 side panels, exhaust on. Right, this is the 2 inner parts of the tank. This is the 2 outer parts of the tank. And then it's all about mounting the 2 together with all the bits and bobs that go with it. And you've got the front fairing with a grill in it. Small screen, decals, how it fits on. Bit goes in the back of it, seat goes on, belly pan on, decals, and your bike should kind of look like that. So, apologies, this is about 25 minutes long. It looks relatively straightforward, but there is a lot of clean-up on the kit, and there might be some fettling. £50 kit, I didn't pay that for it. Do you think it's worth it? Yeah. I paid about 40 for mine, so yeah. So it's up to you guys. So I had one of my viewers ask me for a review on this. What do I think of it? It's not up to Tamiya standard. Can you make a good bike out of it? Yes. Will it take a bit more fettling than a Tamiya kit? Yes. Will it look good at the end of it? Yes. So I would recommend it, but it's a bit more work than a Tamiya kit. And the decals are cartographed, which is excellent. So I would say if you can pick up for about 40-ish, good for you. 50-ish, I wouldn't buy it. So that's my personal review of this kit. Look after yourselves, enjoy your hobby, and until my next review or whatever, happy modelling. Bye.